Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. This is our TNA show for the week. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Marty Jannetty.
Thanks, Matt Hardy. Gary Rhodes, everybody.
How's Matt Hardy even in that?
Well, he's the other useless partner in a tag team. Anyways, he's a new Matt.
Anywho, we'll go right into the beginning of the show. We had Hulk Hogan talking with Sting, talking about how he should have trusted him, he shouldn't have pushed him away, they've been friends for 20 years, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. Basically sets up Morgan versus Sting for the #1 contender match later on.
What is this? The big pay-per-view coming up again?
Bound for Glory's next, I believe.
And that's usually Sting's pay-per-view.
No, is it?
No,
it's
Slammiversary.
Is it Slammiversary or is it Bound for Glory? I think Bound for Glory is, but I don't know. It's one of
It's Slammiversary because Bound for Glory was the BFG series, remember? Bound for Glory series they had last.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and this is usually Sting's big pay-per-view. So.
Well, it's the one he won in the Hall of Fame on last year. And also the debut of the Aces and Eights.
The Aces and Eights debut. Also, they say he usually wins the main event.
Was there?
He usually wins the main events on these. So,
heads up. The first match of the night, we had Zima Ion versus Chris Sabin versus Sanjay Dutt. Sabin looked great in his return, I thought. I mean,
I totally agree with you. And I think these two seasoned vets working with Ion, I think could do nothing but help that kid's career.
If you look back a couple weeks when they first announced the three-way format, I've really enjoyed since they went to that. I was kind of skeptical going into it, but
the only thing I don't like about the new format is the weight limit. I think that they should just have it
no limits.
No limits. But I do like the three ways. It brings more excitement to the match. It's a non-stop.
Didn't some of the no limits holders pin Kurt Hennig?
The three-way?
I don't know. I know Swole did at least once.
Oh god. Anyways, I think it's actually enhancing the show.
And Chris Sabin went over. Which, how can you not deny the man's talent? The only thing that disappoints me about Sabin being there is I'd like to see Shelley back too and the Motor City Machine Guns, but I like him as a single as well.
Well, he had a lot of his career with TNA before him as a single, both him and Shelley. And I do like the Machine Guns, but like I can tolerate Sabin singles.
No, I don't dislike him as a single. I just like the Machine Gun so much that I'd love to see him back.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't like about Sabin was back in the day, if you remember, he was kind of like their X Division's John Cena. He'd come out of nowhere with a win. But honestly, when they went with the Machine Guns, they showed him to have vulnerability. So I do like the character better now.
And speaking of three-man wrestling, we had a 3-on-1 handicap match. Jesse Goddard, Robbie E, and Joey Ryan versus Rob Terry. Basically, since Rob Terry broke off from Robbie E, the three men that he's faced since then, and he held his own and squashed all three. And which actually, with Joey Ryan taking the fall with the other two walking away, kind of keeping cheap heat on them.
Yeah, I mean, Joey Ryan hasn't really been too impressive since he showed up to TNA.
He had a good opening angle, but since then they've not really done much.
They've not booked him right. Now, he's a better performer than what they've given him credit for. It is good, like you said, that Jesse Goddard did walk away in Robbie E. Robbie E, I kind of like the character.
Yeah.
But Jesse Goddard is still kind of young, and he's still got a little bit of a kind of fame to him, I guess, with the whole television reality show crap. So it's good they did. Joey Ryan was the one that had to take a fall, and they were right in that matter.
There you go. And then coming off of that, three seems to be our theme for this show. We had the three tag teams that have been fighting back and forth over the titles. Rude and Aries, Chavo and Hernandez, and Bad Influence all came out and cut a promo, basically setting up for the next week, Rude and Aries versus Bad Influence for the #1 contender, with James Storm as a special guest referee.
I like to see how that works out.
You know, and I've said this to you before, I don't like what they're doing with Storm. It's like they have no idea how to use it. Like they're putting him in stuff like this, it's throwaways, instead of actually building a feud for him. I thought they were going somewhere with the AJ feud.
Well, they had him tap out in the middle of the ring on regular television. I think they should have kept it going until the pay-per-view, with another couple of weeks. But it was a paper because it was a great match. It was a pay-per-view worthy match. I would have held this deal with him and AJ onto a pay-per-view. That's my opinion.
I just think they don't have an idea of what they're using Storm for. And it's a shame because he's a very talented worker.
Oh yeah.
And our next match of the night, one of the previous backstage segments, seeing the Aces and Eights talking about who was going to answer Kurt Angle's challenge. Basically, D'Lo Brown says it's going to be me, and Bubba Ray or Bully Ray says, well, would you be willing to put your colors up for it? Which leads us to a way better match than most people would have guessed, which was D'Lo versus Kurt Angle.
I've never really been harsh on D'Lo's in-ring ability. I always thought he was decent.
No, I thought he was good. I think
even back in his day when him and Mark Henry were tagging together.
I think he's a good mid-card talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not anybody that I would want to see in the world title picture, but he definitely, for their TV title, tag team title, I mean, he's a good worker.
But he was a great European champion. I watched a shoot interview on him one time where he was talking about being from different countries from Europe. They announce it every time. But, I mean, the guy's a great taking bumps. Mm-hmm. And, Kurt, shows that. But,
Kurt's a machine.
Oh, yeah. Do you think the size he's put on since his old WWE days has affected him any? In the ring? Yeah, in the ring. I don't know. Did he seem kind of sluggish to you?
Not really at all, to be honest with you. But
sometimes guys put on size and it doesn't matter. I mean, you can look at a guy like Steen.
Or there's some that don't. And the interesting thing I thought of it was the Aces and Eights came to ringside. Anderson seemed to hold off the other guys from coming in to attack, which I thought was a little bit interesting. Maybe Anderson's angling to take D'Lo's spot in Aces and Eights. And if you noticed in the backstage segments, Bubba's talking mostly to Devon and Anderson, not D'Lo.
No. Well, I mean, Anderson he should be the number 2 guy of the whole grouping. I know Devon is and Bubba are their brothers, but Anderson, he could carry on the chains. Say if Bubba got hurt or Bully got hurt, they could honestly just put the belt right on him and leave him with the Aces and Eights while Bully recovered. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't think it would sell as much if Devon got the world title while Bully was recovering.
And after the match, we had Angle pretty much calling, saying, AJ, we need you on our side. I need you to be with me to fight off Aces and Eights. Basically, same thing they've been doing with AJ, the AJ/Sting angle.
Sting.
And then, speaking of that, let's go right into our question of the week from last week, which was, how do you like the new direction they're taking with AJ Styles and, wearing the black outfit, a little bit of a outsider, I guess you would consider it. Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
And we got an answer from one of our friends, Mike Kirwan 1237. I prefer AJ as a babyface because it just suits him better than a heel. I agree that he's a better babyface, but I think it adds more to his character when he does the heel stuff. Early on in TNA, he did heel stuff where he was working with Vince Russo, and then his work with Fortune, I enjoyed immensely. I know you enjoyed his work and his time in Fortune too.
Well, in my opinion, AJ can play almost any character that he wants to play. He's good at either one. So, he can play the badass heel. Well, no, I'm saying he can play a badass heel, or he can play a good lackey like he did for Christian. He was a decent lackey. Would you have to say he was good at that as a heel lackey? He was a good figurehead for Fortune when he was their champion. And I always thought that Angle got cut short way too soon. But alas, I could see AJ being anything he wants to be. He's that talented.
He is that good, and I like when he change. I like the changes. I like to see the evolution of his character.
I like the new submission hold.
Yeah, and it's not so much that AJ's black and white anymore, where he's all the way good or all the way bad. He's kind of gray area.
I think that's what he needs. I think this is the first time he's ever had a kind of a controversial character.
Now, coming off of that, our question of the week for this week, going back to the match with Rob Terry, they booked, since his split with Robbie E., they booked Rob Terry as a monster. Now, the question of the week is he a believable monster to you, or the years of comedy work he did with Robbie E., has that hurt you believing him as a destroyer? Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Facebook, hit us up on our Twitter, put it on our website, or put it down where?
Down there. Dang it.
Did you miss it, Bo?
But I don't know, miss it.
Gary doesn't know anything. And going back to the show, we had our knockouts match of the night. Gail Kim and Tara versus Taryn Terrell and Mickie James.
I thought it was a pretty decent match. It wasn't a piss match.
You know what? I really think that Taryn Terrell is 100 times better than she was in WWE, and she's even better than when she started here. I don't know who's working with her, if it's Gail Kim or if it's if it's one of the agents, but she's getting better and better, and I can honestly see her being a future Knockouts champion now.
Oh yeah, I agree with you.
Where when she came in, I thought she was just going to be a joke because of her old WWE stuff.
Yeah. I honestly think it probably is Gail working with her, because that was her first program she's been working with. Yeah. And plus she's been working with Tara too, which doesn't hurt. You're working with two people that honestly are two women that are probably two of the best women wrestlers in this century. You know, Moolah and Mae Young and them were previous.
Mae Young still wrestles. Anyway, our next match of the night in our main event for the #1 contendership was Matt Morgan versus the Stigma.
Stigma.
Is he the day man now?
Fighter of the night, man. Oh, champion of the stun. Oh.
It's never sunny in Sebring, Florida.
Everybody's like, what the hell is he doing? Hey. Sunny Philadelphia. It's your town, though. Let's represent.
There you go. I'd represent your town, but that would mean I'd have to trade a jersey for an autograph. Or a tattoo.
A couple. Anyways, I wasn't really excited with this match.
Kind of lackluster. For me, they just didn't fit well together. And I don't know if you blame Morgan, if you blame Sting. Sometimes you put two good wrestlers. Sometimes you put two good wrestlers in there and they just don't work with each other. Even a guy like Shawn Michaels has been put with some guys that he didn't work well with, and it just happens at times. I thought Shawn Michaels and Sid never worked well together. I didn't like any of their matches. I mean, it just goes to show you that no matter how good either wrestler is, sometimes they just don't fit with a guy. And I just think that Morgan style and Sting style now if this was 95 Sting, this probably would have been a great match, but Sting is, I mean, let's be honest, that's 20 years ago, and Sting is not as quick as he used to be, he's not as agile as he used to be.
He's past his prime.
Yeah.
I would have let Morgan, the whole deal from last week, let Morgan get him the title shot. Morgan versus Bully, I think, would have been a good match. Even though there's not the personal aspect that Sting and Bully have, so of course that makes for a good match.
Well, it also makes for more pay-per-view buys from casual viewers and go, oh, Sting's in the main event.
Yeah.
They remember Sting fondly from their childhood. But, now, speaking of something that we haven't mentioned all night.
What, bro?
Normally we do a Thunder Lips count.
Mm-hmm.
But this is for our friend Paul Panda Man Pickett. Pickett. Yeah. We botched that one.
Click it.
But anyway, Paul, the Suburban Commando count of the week is 2. 2 Suburban Commandos. Which is about right. I'm okay with 2 Suburban Commandos appearances.
So in your opinion of the show, what would you rate the show?
Well, let's
we go show our viewers our wonderful ratings.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We bring it up every show. We have a rating system, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. 1's a Garrett Bischoff, a 2's a Christian York, 3's a James Storm, 4's a Christopher Daniels, 5's a Kurt Angle. I'm going with a James Storm all the way. It could have been better. I like the X match. I like the D'Lo versus Angle match. The Knockouts match was decent. I was disappointed in Morgan versus Sting. And pretty much that's the thing that knocked it down to me. And the Rob Terry squash, because I wish they. I mean, I like Rob Terry, you know I do.
I would have put him with 3 jobbers or something, kind of like the old Ryback squash.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I absolutely agree with you. I'm going to give it a 3 also. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
The good part of it is the majority of the show was the 3 good matches.
Exactly. And that's basically what we're rating it on. You got anything to say?
But basically, that's all I have.
We're done.
Well, my name is George Coles.
Gary Rhodes.
And this has been Heel Heat.